Namaste, happy Halloween, and welcome to today's yin and restorative gentle movement yoga practice. My name is Michelle Chua. For today, you'll want to have two blocks, a strap, a bolster or a pillow, and a blanket. Let's start in a comfortable seat in which you can begin turning open the thighs in abduction and external rotation, turning them out. So as you splay open the thighs, take a moment to see if your knees are lifting higher than your pelvis. If so, I invite you to use your pillow, your blanket, or both stacked to prop your pelvis on top of, and try to get your pelvis higher than your knees. And then play with how wide apart or close together your shins are, and notice what feels comfortable so that you can equally root down through those two bones at the bottom of your pelvis, your sitting bones. And then in turn, lift up tall through the center of your spine, and take a moment to let the shoulders soften slightly behind you and down. Starting to find some stillness. So I'm back, we're back. We've been gone for a few weeks. We had our yoga retreat in Bali, Indonesia, and I wanted to share why I chose Bali as a destination for a yoga retreat. Some of you may have been there, and some of you may know that the life philosophy traditionally of the Balinese people is a practice called Trihita Karana. And it means that well-being is achieved by living in harmony with three things. One, nature. Two, God or universe or source or great spirit, whatever name you like to call it. And three, each other. And one of the things that I noticed as I observed locals around me interacting was this: when there was a conflict or when an issue arose, big or small, I noticed this lack of spending energy on blaming who did it, whose fault was it. And instead, the energy was much more spent on co-creating a solution. And I think this was a huge way of reflecting living in harmony with each other. This letting go of blame, which can just suck our energy dry and take us away from what we actually want instead. And instead, this community focus, and community was a huge thing that I saw in many different forms, this community focus on creating a solution. This happened as well in Thailand, where I went to explore by myself afterwards. It was also a theme, this community, this living in harmony with each other. And you might remember that in the 8 limbs of yoga. The first limb, called the yamas, are 5 practices in which we practice living in harmony with the world around us. The very first yama is ahimsa, which is the practice of non-harm, all the different ways that we can live in loving kindness with ourselves, each other, nature, our environment. And then the second limb of yoga, the niyamas, are 5 set of practices in which we live in harmony with ourselves, with our inner being. For example, there's a practice called satya, or truthfulness, or Ishvara Pranidhana, which is an offering to the divine, a surrendering to the divine, in which we live with a sense of a bigger picture, a higher sense of purpose, something that gives deep meaning to our lives. And so you can see the parallel in today's practice, that we focus quite a bit on the physical postures, which is the third limb of yoga, called asanas. We cannot separate the mind, the body, the spirit, the breath. All are happening. And so the practice of yoga is creating that union with all these dimensions of our being intentionally. So how can we intentionally unify breath, body, spirit, mind with the overarching theme of harmony? How are you harmonizing with yourself in this moment? What are you working with in your different layers? Let's start by checking in. So as you still your body, you might help to bring awareness to it by placing a hand on the center of your chest. a hand just below your belly button, and closing your eyes. With a sense of mindfulness in which you withhold judging what you observe as good or bad. Bring awareness to any sensations you're experiencing right now. Notice the quality of your breathing without changing or controlling the breath. Tuning into how you're feeling energetically. And then bring your attention to your mind. Do you notice any patterns of thoughts, kinds of thoughts you've been focusing on? Sense the energy of your heart. Notice any emotions that feel alive in you right now. As you feel the surface below your body, root into that, breathing in a little deeper through the nose. As you open the mouth to exhale, rise a little taller towards the sky, lengthening your spine. Again, inhaling a little bit slower. Exhaling just as slowly. Continuing to deepen your breath. I invite you to recognize something, anything that you appreciate in this moment. We know the power of gratitude to uplift our mindset and vibration and to open up our perspective. And so from there, now clarify what you are inviting in to your experience by showing up to your practice today. And as we remember our interconnectedness, how we all affect each other, I invite you to choose someone or something to dedicate today's practice to. Consider offering peace to those around us who are suffering. Let's set our intentions and dedications together while creating resonance to share practice in by joining our voices, chanting Om 3 times. Inhale a little deeper. Connecting to your breath. I'm going to invite you into a breathing technique, a pranayama, to help bring calmness to the nervous system, setting the tone for a yin practice. And it's called Samavriti Pranayama, box breathing. So you might rest your hands in your lap or continue to place hand on chest and lower belly. And it's done by closing your lips, just breathing through your nose. We'll inhale slowly for a count of 4. Hold the breath in as you relax for a count of 4. Exhale through the nose for a count of 4 and hold the breath out as you relax for a count of 4. And that's 1 cycle. Let's practice 3 cycles together and then 3 cycles on your own before we let go of controlling the breath and observe the effects of the practice. As we're practicing box breathing, you might close your eyes or steady a gentle gaze downcast in front of you. So let's prepare to begin sitting tall and relaxed by emptying this breath. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Cycle 2. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Cycle 3. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue 3 more cycles at your pace. Taking your time, not rushing. When you finish, release control of the breath and observe anything you're feeling. Remember that self-study, cultivating self-awareness, which is called svadhyaya, is one of the practices of the second limb of yoga, that practice of cultivating harmony with ourselves. It's important to observe how these different practices of yoga affect you in the moment. So let's begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama, which will take us into our postures and movements. Victorious breathing. It helps to cultivate balanced energy, calm and focused mind and body. So as you continue breathing just through your nose, start to slow the breath down. Inhaling to the very top and exhaling just as slowly, all through the nose, while creating a gentle whispering sound by softly narrowing or gently constricting the back of your throat. So let that sound be almost like you're snoring, but not that harsh, very, very soft, so that if I was sitting right next to you, then I could hear you. So keep that sound rhythm going and see if you can keep it slow and evenly paced as we begin our movements. Start to make your way down onto your hands and your knees. Now you may want to set up your 2 blocks on either side of the front of your mat here. And as you come down to hands and knees, spread your fingers wide and flat and stack your shoulders right on top of your wrists. Step your knees a couple of inches behind your hips. Now listen to the breath and let it initiate the movement of inhaling as you glide your chest forward, coiling it up and entering cow pose. Let the exhale initiate contracting the abdomen, rounding your back as you drop your head into cat pose. Again, inhale, draw your chest forward, roll your shoulders back and down, look up. Exhaling, lift the navel towards the spine, tuck the tailbone, and drop the head. Take about 3 to 5 more cycles of cat-cow pose or Betalasana, and feel the synchronization of your body to a slow, mindful breath. As you use your breath as a focal point, an anchor, you can let the movements become a form of meditation themselves. Remember that the first step in meditating is concentration, dharana. Let your thumbs flatten wide towards each other, and let your index fingers point straight ahead or slightly turn them out. At the end of your next exhalation, tucking your toes, lift your hips high and back, entering downward facing dog. Spend a few breaths bending one knee as you press the opposite heel into the earth. And then bending the opposite knee. Let it be a breath-led movement, so no rush. Take it slowly and gently. In and out of straightening the backs or stretching the backs of your legs. Now let your head fall. Can you still hear your breathing? You can always set the knees on the floor if you need to lay off your hands for a moment. Lift the shoulders back. Create more space in the neck. Let the head drop. Maybe even shake your head no a few times. Nod your head yes a few times. And roll your triceps, your outer upper arms towards the ground as you draw your hips back. Remember, you can bend the knees as much as you need so it feels as if you have a flat back. Press your chest towards your shins. Press the fronts of your thighs back and let your heels become heavier and heavier. Now begin to find stillness in Adho Mukha Svanasana, steadying your gaze on one spot. Tune into 3 deep breaths. We're warming up the shoulders here as we stretch the back and the back body. With your next inhale, raise your right leg behind you. And as you exhale, bend the right knee and rotate the thigh externally. Turn out the leg. Breathe in, tack your left outer hip back. And as you exhale, softly as you can, step your right foot forward beside your right thumb. Lower your back knee to the ground, keep the toes tucked. Make sure that your legs are as wide apart as your hips. You're not in a narrow tightrope. And then set your hands on your blocks at the height that you need so that you can lift your chest, look up, and let the shoulders relax down. Make sure that your front knee is bending just above the heel, but not in front of the heel. We're going to warm up the area of our hips, which is going to be one of our focal points for our physical practice. So as you breathe in, look up, let your pelvis sink. Keep your feet where they are. And as you breathe out, lift the back knee and begin to gently scissor the right hip back towards straightening the legs, just to the point that you can bow as if you have a flat back. This is a pyramid pose. Inhale, lower the left knee. Come back to a kneeling lunge, look up. And exhale, lift the back knee. Draw the right hip back, straightening the legs to bow. Pyramid pose. Twice more. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Now come into a high lunge. Spin the left heel to the ground where the toes are slightly pointing to the front of the mat. Align the right heel to intersect the arch of the left foot. Press to your feet and inhale, cartwheel your arms apart, rising into warrior two. We're going to warm up the right hip area a bit more with this external rotation of the right thigh. So track your front knee, bend it right on top of the front heel in line with the middle toe. Firm the top of the left thigh bone back leg is straight, and lengthen your spine upright as the arms are wide open, shoulders relaxed. Inhale, keep your feet where they are, straighten the front leg, raise your arms overhead, maybe the palms touch. Exhale, return to warrior two, bend the front knee over the heel, arms apart. Inhale, rise up again. Exhale, warrior two. Track the front knee, make sure it doesn't go past the ankle. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. Keep the spine upright and centered. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rise. And exhale, warrior two. Now stay in warrior two, and from your right shoulder socket, flip the right palm to face up. Lift the spine a little taller and inhale, side bend towards your rear wall, lightly landing the left hand on your left leg as you raise the right arm overhead. Peaceful warrior. Inhale to warrior two again. Now glide your hips towards the back of the room. Bring the right forearm to gently press off of the right thigh and flip the left palm up. Sweep it overhead towards the front of the room. Extended side angle. Inhale through warrior two, all the way back to peaceful warrior. Exhale through warrior two, leaning forward to side angle. Inhale, peaceful warrior, side bending to the rear. Exhale, side angle, side bending to the front. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior two this time. And then exhale your hands to the blocks. Pivot to face the front of the room. And then set the back knee down. Come back to hands and knees, all fours. Inhale here, engage the belly slightly, draw the shoulders back. And then exhale, lower your chest. So hug the elbows to the ribs, pull in the belly, look forward, lower your chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slither forward onto your belly, firm down through the tops of your feet, and gently coil your chest up to a light cobra pose. Exhale, tuck your toes and lift your hips back into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pause here. Steady your gaze for 3 slow breaths. Rooting down through fingers spread. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee and externally rotate your left thigh at the hip. Stay there. Inhale, tack your right outer hip back. Then exhale, gently step your left foot forward beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee. Place your hands on the height of the blocks that you need in order to look up and relax the shoulders. Now keep your right toes tucked and make sure your feet are as wide apart as your hips. Your front knee is right above the heel, but not in front of it. Inhale here, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Lift the right knee, keep the feet where they are. Draw your left outer hip back towards straightening the legs as you bow with a flat back. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Look up. Exhale, pyramid pose. Draw the left hip back and extend your chest forward. Feel those opposite actions. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid pose. Inhale, kneeling lunge. Exhale, pyramid. Inhale, kneeling lunge. And exhale, pyramid. Now bend the front knee, come into a high lunge. Spin the right heel to the ground where the toes are slightly pointing to the front of the mat. And align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Press to your feet. Inhale, cartwheel your arms to rise up, entering warrior two. So bending left knee right on top of left heel, but not past the ankle. Rotate left outer hip under from the top of the right thigh bone back and center your spine where it's most upright between the feet, relaxing the shoulders, arms wide. Inhale, keep your feet where they are and straighten the left leg. Raise your arms, maybe the palms touch. Exhale, back to warrior two. Bend the front knee just over the heel, arms open. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rise. Exhale, warrior two. Now keep the front knee bent from the left shoulder, flip the left palm to face up. Lift your spine a little taller and inhale to side bend towards your rear wall. Gently landing the right hand on your right leg. Draw the shoulders down the back. With your next inhale, rise through warrior two again, and this time slide your hips towards the back of the room. Bring the left forearm to gently push off of the left thigh as you flip the right palm up and overhead towards the front of the room, extended side angle. Let's flow. Inhale through warrior two into peaceful warrior. Exhale through warrior two into extended side angle. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle. Now from here, keep this wide stance and come back to warrior two. Straighten both legs and parallel your feet. Heel toe your feet as close together as you need, wider than hips distance, to prepare for a wide-legged forward fold. Now I invite you to open up the fronts of the shoulders here by either clasping your hands behind your back, or if it's more accessible for you, holding a strap between the hands so that you can space the hands as wide apart as you need to be able to lift the hands, maybe at least a foot away from the lower back. Thumbs pointing away from the spine if you're holding the strap. And as you breathe in, make sure the feet are parallel. Drop the shoulders, look up. As you breathe out from the hips, hinge forward and try to cultivate a flat back. So if needed, to prevent rounding the back, bend your knees. Shift your weight forward, let the neck relax. And as you're stretching the arms away from your lower back, lift your shoulder heads to free up even more space in your neck. Now, if your head's not touching the ground, you can gently move the head, shaking and nodding to help relax the neck some more. If you know that you're carrying any tension in your jaw, you could flutter your lips or take a few rounds of lion's breath, which can be energetically releasing. Lion's breath is where you inhale through the nose and open the mouth wide, sticking out the tongue. Exhale any sound out that feels releasing to you. Few more deep breaths here. And if your hands are clasped, you might switch the interlacing of the thumb and index finger on top. So we did quite a bit of movement, a little more than usual for a yin practice, so that we can actually get a little deeper into holding a yin and restorative posture to open the hips. So relax the arms, let them go, and start to crawl your hands to the top of your mat. Pivot to face the front in a lunge, and then step back to hands and knees, all fours. So we're going to prepare for single pigeon pose. You may want to have your props somewhere where you can grab a pillow or grab a blanket as you might need. And then from here, turning out your right thigh at the hip, slide your right shin across your mat in front of your pelvis and straighten your left leg behind you. Now place your hands to frame your hips for a moment and lift your pelvis off the floor. Tack your right outer hip back and rotate your left outer hip forward. Try to get your two frontal hip bones equally facing forward. And if there's a gap between your right glute and the ground, use any of your props to comfortably fill that gap and support balancing the hips. Now, if you are able to parallel your right shin with the front of the mat comfortably, then make sure that you're flexing your right foot to stabilize the knee. Now let's relax the back toes. Bring your hands in front of your right shin and inhale to lift your heart, stretch the front of your torso. And then as you continue breathing mindfully, start to lower very slowly and gently. You might make a tower of 1 or 2 blocks to rest your forehead on like this. You might want to create an incline out of 2 blocks underneath the furthest part of your pillow or bolster, as the lowest part of the bolster touches your groin or shin, and you can bear hug the pillow like this. So take your variation that allows your body to feel most effortless in sustaining this pose, where you're not trying to hold yourself up, you're being held instead. And I'm gonna watch the clock for 3 minutes, starting now. Staying aware of your breathing and continuing to cultivate that ocean sound, very soft, whispering sound. Now follow this next breath to the very bottom. Before you begin to press your hands into the floor, gently lift your skull and really take your time, stepping back onto your hands and knees. Pause for at least 3 breaths in child's pose when you arrive there, bringing the inner edges of your feet to touch and sinking your hips back into your heels, resting your forehead down. And just notice how it feels after you've released from that side of single pigeon. As you feel ready, start to make your way back to hands and knees, preparing for the second side. Turning out your left thigh at the hip, slide your left shin across your mat in front of your pelvis and straighten your right leg behind you. Tuck the right toes for a moment and frame your hips with your hands so that you can lift your pelvis off the floor and tack your left outer hip back. Rotate your right outer hip forward and square your hips to the front. Notice if it might be helpful on this side to place a prop under your left glute. And then relax your right toes, place your hands in front of your left shin. Now remember, if your left shin is parallel to the front edge of your mat, to flex your left foot, stabilize the knee. As you breathe in, lift up through the chest, and then take your time starting to lower. Now you might rearrange the configuration of your props depending on what you need on this side of your body. We talked about harmony. So how are you establishing or practicing harmony with your physical state right now? Not forcing, but finding a balance in which you can rest in some sort of effortlessness, even though it might be some discomfort. We're not pushing anything. And then again, back to the breath, steadying your awareness, 3 minutes here. Notice where your awareness is right now. Feel into a last couple of cycles of breath in this pose. And as you're ready, without rushing, press your hands into the floor, lift your head, lift your torso, and gently make your way back into child's pose for at least 5 breaths. A moment to be still there in a more neutral position, just sensing your body, feeling your own energy, connecting to your breath. And with your hands on the floor alongside your knees, very slowly on an in-breath, roll your spine upright to sit up. So please find a comfortable seat, maybe hero's pose, just to change it up a bit and open up the fronts of your thighs, fronts of your hips. You might even place in hero's pose a block between your ankles. If hero's pose does not work for you, you might sit with the opposite shin on top or in front, cross-legged. We're going to practice another pranayama before we go into our reclined positions and eventually enter Shavasana from there. So this breathing technique is another one that helps to calm the nervous system, ground us, bring awareness to the present moment. All the breathing techniques can be forms of meditation as well, as we're concentrating on the breath. And this one is called Durga Pranayama, or 3-part breathing. It also helps to fully feel how it feels to breathe entirely, and not just in the chest, a shallow breath, but really stretch it out, but taking your time. So it's done by first sitting up tall and comfortably and imagining that your torso, which is from your pelvic floor to the top of your neck, is a jar. Imagine dividing that jar into 3 cross sections so that from your belly button to your pelvic floor all the way around is the first section, and encompassing most of your rib cage is the second or middle section, and from your chest, upper back, neck, and shoulders is the third section, the top. We're going to inhale first a third into the lowest section and pause. Then we'll inhale again into the midsection and pause. Then we'll inhale lastly into the top, and holding the breath, sit tall and relaxed. Then we'll exhale everything slowly through the nose and hold the breath out. That's 1 cycle. Let's practice 3 cycles together and 3 cycles on your own. Now, to help delineate the top and bottom parts, you might place a hand on your chest and a hand below your belly button. And then maybe close the eyes to help you visualize where you're breathing into. Let's prepare to begin. And this is all with the lips closed. So you're just breathing in and out through the nose by emptying this breath into the lowest part of your torso. Inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the middle, inhale 1/3. Pause. Into the top, all the way to the top of the neck. Inhale. Holding your breath, relax the body. Notice how this feels. Through the nose, really slowly empty the breath. Hold the breath out. Keep sitting tall, observing. Second round, inhale lowest part. Pause. Inhale middle. Pause. Inhale to the top. Hold it in. Exhale through the nose. Hold it out. Doing everything as easefully as possible. Last round together. Inhale lowest part. Pause. Inhale middle. Pause. Inhale top. Hold it in. Exhale slowly. Hold it out. On your own, continue 3 more cycles of 3-part breathing. As you take your time, when you do finish, let go of controlling the breath, and once again, practicing svadhyaya, self-study. Notice how you feel. I'm going to invite you now to continue breathing naturally throughout the rest of this practice. We're going to enter a restorative posture just before our Shavasana. So it's going to be a combination of opening up the fronts of the shoulders, the chest in a supported fish pose, and continuing to open up both thighs at the hips. So let's set up first the support for your upper back, placing a block on its tallest height at the rearmost edge of your mat and a block at its medium height, either crossing the mat where the blocks are about 5 to 6 inches apart, or tracing the midline of the mat where the blocks are only about 1 or so inch apart. You can decide as you lie back which configuration for the second block is most comfortable for you. So you want the closest edge of the closest block to meet the area right underneath the bottom tips of your shoulder blades so that your shoulders can easily drop back and your chest can expand, increasing your natural capacity for in-breath. Now have a seat with your pelvis away from the blocks, you're facing away from the blocks, and let's set up the legs. You could either start by bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees drop and just see if that feels comfortable. If your knees are lifting up higher than the hips, you might take your blanket, unfold it so it's about the length of your wingspan, like about this, and then roll that up into really long burrito, smooth and firm burrito, so that you can then place the center of that rolled burrito on top of your inner ankles and inner feet, and then tuck the ends of the burrito as thick as you need underneath your outer knees or your outer thighs to then support your legs to splay open comfortably. So place as much support as you need under your outer thighs and try to have even thickness under each. And then start to lower onto the blocks. Adjusting the blocks, even a millimeter adjustment in location can make a huge difference in how it feels. You want to feel that your neck is spacious, it's naturally curved, shoulder bones are evenly descending, chest is broad, collarbones feel open. And to continue opening the chest, you can also, from the shoulders, externally rotate the upper arms to flip the palms to face up, and then let the backs of your hands rest slightly away from your thighs. And then make sure that your hips feel pretty even. Feel your skull. Does it feel comfortably supported? If you don't feel like your chest is getting that much opening here, because you're already open in the fronts of the shoulders, you could place the block under your skull 1 or 2 steps lower. And that will lift the chest more. Then take a mental scan of your entire body. Does anything feel strained or contracted that you could adjust and give more support to relax? And if you're not already, you might close your eyes and focus on relaxing the eyes, relaxing the muscles behind them, surrounding them, your forehead, your cheeks, your jaw, your tongue, all the muscles in your face. And with that, as we lay to rest in this posture for a few minutes, I'll take you through a mindful body scan to encourage deep relaxation. So continue to let the breath flow naturally and let your body be as effortless as possible. You be as effortless as possible. Bring your awareness to your neck and just feel its natural curve as your throat has space to receive the breath. Back of the neck feels relaxed. Trace your awareness to the tops of your shoulders, relaxing the trapezius muscle, letting your shoulder bones just sink to the weight of gravity. You might feel a gentle movement in your chest as a natural breath comes and goes. Feel the sensations around your chest, at your sternum, across your collarbones. Let your armpits relax. Bring your mind's eye down your left arm, slowly through the elbow, the forearm, the wrist. Soften your left palm. And bring your mind's eye from your right shoulder down your right arm, relaxing the muscles around the bones. Right elbow, right forearm, right wrist. Relaxing your right palm. And now set your inner gaze at your stomach, softening your belly, softening the muscles in your back, down to your glutes as you let the pelvis sink. Feeling your inner thighs relax, your outer thighs, fronts of the thighs, backs of the thighs. Trace your attention down your left knee, your left shin, relaxing the calf, down to your left ankle and foot. Bring your awareness to your right knee, right shin, relaxing the right calf, down to your right ankle and right foot. Now sense your body as a whole, physical body, energetic body, mental, emotional body, as though you could have an aerial view from above. Bringing a loving kindness as you gaze at your own various dimensions of being and just holding it with loving awareness. Whatever is here now, just bringing a caring attention, an energetic, warm, nurturing embrace, just through your presence, just through your paying attention. As we enter corpse pose or shavasana now, you could be still exactly as you are if you are completely comfortable. Or if you're going to move out of this position, maybe splay the legs and arms, please move gradually. No sudden movements. As you keep your eyes closed, allow your body to rest a little longer here. Notice how you feel physically now. And then start with a small, subtle movement like wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, little by little, gently waking your body up. Then you might eventually bring your hands to your outer thighs to help lift your knees and set your feet on the ground. Choose the route that is most easeful for you to very slowly rise up. Find a comfortable way to sit, tall, grounded, relaxed, preparing for 5 minutes sitting in meditation. As I mentioned, Trihita Karana, the Balinese life philosophy of achieving well-being by practicing harmony with nature, with universe or God or source, and with each other. That's what this meditation is going to focus on. You might place your hands in a mudra that cultivates evenness of mind, stacking the palms face up on the center of your lap with thumb tips gently touching. And as you sit tall with a heart space open and uplifted, relax the whole body. Maybe close the eyes or steady a gentle downcast gaze. Begin by centering your awareness in one point on your body where you can feel your breath naturally coming and going. It might be at the tip of your nose, it might be at your belly or elsewhere. Let this be your anchor so that if your attention wanders off, give yourself loving kindness, and then you bring your awareness back to this point in your body, feeling the breath again. I invite you to visualize a moment in which you felt in tune with Mother Earth. Maybe you were sitting outside, enjoying the breeze and the sunshine. Maybe you were taking a walk or watering your plants or gardening. Or maybe it was having a delicious meal and just feeling nature's nourishment. I invite you to spend a minute just visualizing that moment and sensing a loving connection with Mother Earth, that living in harmony with nature. When we feel that we are living in harmony with Mother Earth, we can have a feeling of balance in our root chakra. Now, I invite you to think of a moment when you felt connected to spirit, to universe at large, or creative intelligence, a greater consciousness. It may have been in a moment of challenge in your life where you felt deeply supported, in which inner wisdom sprouted. Now spend a minute with that feeling tone, cultivating that sense of harmony and connection with Source. Again, sensing your body breathing. Now I invite you to recall a moment of connection and harmony with another being, another human, whether they're living or past, an animal, maybe a moment in which you felt deeply seen and you felt that you saw the other as you, a reflection of yourself, a mutual understanding. Spend a minute cultivating that feeling tone of living in harmony with the other. And now notice how you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically. What is something right now that you could genuinely appreciate, offer gratitude for? And then remind yourself mentally or out loud your intention for today's practice. Allow a moment to visualize to whom or what you dedicated this practice, in some way receiving benefit. And together, as we close chanting Om 3 times, let what you've cultivated in this practice be sent out through the vibrational sound, as well as be integrated within the cells of your being. Let's inhale deeply. bowing in. Recognize the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.